Hello trader, welcome to another weekly Forex forecast for the upcoming week from 17th to 21st of March 2025. This week as well, quite a few high impact news. We see that full of schedule with FOMC, important decision on JPY, as well as we see that CAD, dollar, AUD, GBP, CHF, and full of schedule including NZD. So we can expect significant movement in quite a few instruments. As past week was a little slower on DXY, we saw that significant pullback. Now this week we might see further expansion. So in this weekly Forex forecast, DXY, Euro dollar, British pound US dollar, XAU USD, dollar yen, GBP, JPY, dollar CAD and AUD USD will be fully analyzed, as well as we'll look to see what kind of trading opportunity we have throughout the week. So before I progress further, traders, make sure that you give a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't done yet. So without further delay, let's start this week's weekly Forex forecast. Okay, traders, so let's first of all start with DXY, looking at the monthly chart to see overall picture in this market. Now from the monthly, we can see that DXY is in a very strong bearish market. We have seen that after previous monthly bearish candle this month, after the gap open, there was a significant drop here with a stronger monthly momentum. And what we can expect in this market from the monthly, after initial pullback, the market to continue to drop here to this support level to create a new lower low. So there could be potential bearish move on DXY from the monthly perspective. If we look at the weekly chart on DXY, we can see that from the weekly perspective, this is the weekly channel here. And in this bearish market from the weekly, there was a huge breakdown with this weekly bearish engulfer. Now this week, we can see that the market has tested the high. And after test of this high from the weekly, we can expect for the market to retest and then to potentially drop again. And what I think that this week, we may see that the price breaking that high and grabbing that liquidity. We might see that potential liquidity candle formation here on the weekly perspective on DXY. This could be the wave potentially for this upcoming week. And based on that, we can look to analyze all the USD pairs as they are reflection of DXY. Let's begin first of all Euro USD to see what kind of trading opportunity we have in this instrument. Now from the weekly, first of all, Euro dollar, we have seen that previous week there was a massive breakout, followed by this week a narrower candle formation here, and we can expect for this market potentially to remain bullish after initial pullback. If we look at the monthly like DXY, we can see that just a mirror where there was a gap open Euro dollar from the monthly, and the market is still remaining strongly bullish here. We can expect for the price to potentially bounce back up to grab that liquidity. So therefore, we can expect Euro dollar to remain bullish. Now dropping down to the daily chart here, we can see that from the daily perspective, this is the daily price action, and this is previous weekly support level here, which is also the daily important support. There was a sideways movement throughout the week. We saw that on the daily perspective on Euro dollar, and we can expect for this price to potentially drop again, grab liquidity, and then to trend again to create a new higher high. So if we look at the 4-hour chart on Euro dollar, we can see that in this lower time frame, this is an important support level on the 4-hour time frame on Euro dollar. And what we can expect for this market potentially to trend here, grab the liquidity, and to then to bounce back up. So we may see that initially beginning of the week a downside and then potential trend continuation on Euro USD, and this could be the wave for the upcoming week on Euro dollar. Now let's look at British pound US dollar. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we may have. Now looking at monthly again to see overall picture. Now from the monthly, we can see that GBPUSD is still bullish. We see that there was a gap open followed by massive bounce on the monthly chart on GBPUSD. the price is approaching that monthly resistance line where there is a high liquidity in that area. And what we can expect this month for the price initially to pull back and then to trend again to create a new higher high. If we look at the weekly chart on British pound US dollar, we can see that from the weekly perspective, this is the weekly support level here. There is a weekly bounce followed by narrow weekly doji formation. What we can expect for this price to retest, grab liquidity, and then to potentially trend again to create a higher high. So this is a previous liquidity zone here on the weekly on GBPUSD, expecting for the market to grab liquidity and then to trend again. So dropping down to the daily chart here on GBPUSD, we can see that from the daily perspective, this is the daily impulse here. There is a daily strong bounce, quite a few days sideways movement, and as the market in a sideways, we could see that from the daily the price to potentially drop further to that liquidity zone and then to trend again to create a new higher high. So looking at the 4-hour chart on GBPUSD, what we can expect in this market for the price to potentially break below, this is the important support level, and then to trend again to create a new higher high. This could be the wave on GBPUSD for the upcoming week, and based on that we can look for potential trading opportunity. Now let's look at dollar CAD, looking at monthly. Now dollar CAD from the monthly, we can see that so far it is in a bearish trend. We saw that so far a little sideways movement, as previous monthly candle has a healthy body with a long wick at the bottom, expecting dollar CAD potentially to drop again to create a new lower low. Now, if we look at the weekly chart on dollar CAD, we can see that from the weekly perspective, there is a weekly doji, and the market has formed a series of lower high with a long wick doji from the weekly, expecting for this market potentially to drop again to that support level. Therefore, we could see that from the weekly on dollar CAD to remain bearish. Now, looking at the daily chart on dollar CAD, we can see that from the daily, there was a daily impulse and then sideways movement. As this market is potentially showing bearish pressure, we could see that initial pullback, and I think the price might retest this daily resistance and potentially to trend again to the downside. Looking at the intraday perspective on dollar CAD, we can see that from the lower time frame perspective on dollar CAD, for the price to bounce back up, grab the liquidity, and then to trend again to create a new lower low. So this could be the wave for the upcoming week on dollar CAD. As soon as we will find suitable entry, we will be looking for selling opportunity in this instrument. Now let's look at AUD USD. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have. Looking at monthly chart on AUD USD, we can see that from the monthly there was a gap open here, and with that gap open there is a strong bounce on the monthly perspective. Now Aussie dollar is still showing potential bullish price action, though it is a long-term bear market. We see that there is a bounce, therefore we could see that ultimately from the monthly to retest the previous monthly high, as there is a weak fill possible in this instrument. If we look at the weekly chart on AUD USD, we can see that from the weekly, this is the weekly drop, followed by the market is now trending to the upside. From the weekly perspective, there is a weekly bullish candle with a long wick at the top. Now this week we see that there is a initial drop here, followed by the market is now maintaining potential bullish market structure, expecting for the price to pull back and then to trend again to create a new higher high. Now dropping down to the daily chart on AUD USD, we can see that this is the daily impulse here, followed by sideways movement, quite a few days of sideways movement, and last day of trading week we saw strong bounce. And with that bounce, what we can expect for this market after initial pullback, the market to trend to the upside to create a new higher high. Looking at the 4-hour chart on AUD USD, what we can expect for the market to trend again and then to bounce back up. This could be the wave for this upcoming week on AUD USD. Now let's look at XAU USD. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we may have. Past week we saw that there was a significant trend in this market as expected. From here there was a strong breakout. So let's first look at the bigger picture to see what kind of trading opportunity we have. Now looking at monthly, we can see that from the monthly XAU USD is strongly bullish. In the beginning of the month we saw that there was a gap open, and the price tested that gap followed by a bounce. The market currently above the previous monthly high, and it is a historically a bull market, and we can expect for the market potentially to continue to trend to create a new higher high. So what we can expect in this market is for long-term perspective here, this is the monthly impulse. As the price is still showing bullish, we could see continuation to the upside. Now if we look at the weekly perspective here on XAUUSD, we can see that from the weekly there was a narrow doji formation. The price formed series of higher low and finally has broken above the weekly resistance line, and it is showing a very strong sharp bullish price action. We could see that XAUUSD potentially trending again to the upside to create a new higher high. The price closed above this weekly resistance line, and we could see that continuation to the upside. Now looking at the daily chart on XAUUSD, we can see that from this daily price action, this is the daily bullish engulfer followed by back-to-back 3 days of impulse, and last day of trading week we saw a narrow doji formation. The price currently at this daily support level, expecting for the market potentially to drop, grab liquidity, and then to bounce back up to create a new higher high. So looking at the 1 hour chart here, we see that there is a sideways movement quite a few hours, and it's kind of forming a head and shoulder. But what I think that the trend might still remain bullish, as this support is quite significant. It's a liquidity zone. What I think that we might see in the beginning of the week, either little sideways movement or break of structure here, grab that liquidity, and then potentially after break of this daily low, grabbing liquidity, we could see that potential trend continuation to the upside. So but we need to wait for a price action confirmation, as it still could come back even deeper before it bounce back up. So if we see that the market broken below and then bouncing back up after liquidity grab, we will be looking for going long on XAUUSD as soon as we will find suitable price action confirmation. Now let's look at yen pairs. Let's see, starting with dollar yen, and this week quite a few important news on yen, and that could definitely lead dollar yen to be pretty volatile. So looking at monthly chart on dollar yen, we can see that from the monthly, this is the monthly bearish candle followed by another monthly strong bearish candle. Now this month we can see that from this support level there is a breakout, and the price in fact is still showing we have seen a strong rejection. As the price has dropped to that monthly support, it managed to bounce. We could see that dollar yen is potentially continuing to the upside. Now if we look at the weekly chart on dollar yen, we can see that from the weekly, this is the weekly support level here, and with that weekly support there is a weekly strong bounce, expecting dollar yen after a retest potentially continue to rise to create a new higher high. If we look at the daily chart on dollar yen, we can see that from the daily there is a daily doji here, which in fact a strong liquidity grab, and also we saw that there is a strong liquidity grab here as well. So you see that the market from the daily is strongly now getting a rejection. At the same time, long-term trend is still bearish. There is a trend line here, and I think that as the market slowly getting some rejection, we could see some upside bias to break any of this important structure before break below. So if we look at the 4-hour chart here, we can see that the market grabbing liquidity from the support and getting an upside bias. So what I think that this week we might see initial break for this liquidity grab, and then potentially to continue with this trend. As soon as we will find suitable price action on dollar yen, we will be looking for going long with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at GBP JPY. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity we have. Looking at the monthly chart on GBP JPY, we can see that from the monthly, this is bullish market. We have seen that from this monthly support level on GJ from a monthly doji, followed by this month the prices from series of higher low had a very strong bounce. From the monthly perspective, we can expect after initial pullback the price to continue to rise, as there is an imbalance here on the monthly. we could see that GBP/JPY potentially moving up to create a new higher high. Now, if we look at the weekly chart on GBP/JPY, we can see that from the weekly perspective, this is the weekly price action here, where the market is forming series of higher low, and what we can expect on GJ for the price initially to pull back and then to trend again to create a new higher high. Now, if we look at the daily chart on GBP/JPY, we can see that from the daily perspective here, this is the daily bullish engulfer followed by this pullback, and we can see that this is another daily impulse last day of trading week, a bullish price action, expecting for the market to pull back and then to potentially to trend again to create a new higher high. From the intraday perspective, we can see that this market is maintaining bullish trend here, and we can expect for the price to potentially grab liquidity and then to bounce back up. So this could be the wave for this upcoming week on GBP/JPY. Traders, I hope that you enjoyed this weekly Forex podcast. If you enjoy, make sure you smash the like button, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more updated education and analysis that I am posting every single day.